I never thought I'd be sitting in this room, staring at the will, waiting for it to change everything. But here I was, alone with my siblings and a lawyer, wondering what my father had left us. The man who had always been our rock gone. It had only been 2 weeks since he passed, but it felt like a lifetime. I'm Kate, the oldest of 3 siblings. There's Sarah, my younger sister, and then there's Liam, the youngest. We were once close, a family that stuck together through thick and thin. I thought that would last forever. But now, here we were, falling apart in front of each other. The will was about to be read, and I had no idea what was coming. My father had always kept his finances close to his chest. He worked hard, built a successful business from the ground up, and never really discussed it with us. He always said, "You'll get it when you're ready." But none of us were ready. How could we be? I glanced at Sarah and Liam, both of them sitting stiffly beside me. Sarah's eyes were red from crying, and Liam was staring blankly ahead. He always had this way of shutting down when things got tough. But today, it felt different. We all knew it. None of us were prepared for what was about to happen. The lawyer, Mr. Thompson, cleared his throat, and we all turned to him. "I will now read the last will and testament of Eleanor and Robert Blake," he said, his voice deep and neutral. He opened the envelope and began reading. "I, Robert Blake, being of sound mind and body, hereby declare this to be my last will and testament." I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. This was it. This was where everything would change. The lawyer continued. "To my eldest daughter, Kate Blake, I leave the family business, Blake Enterprises, along with the house in which we lived, and all associated assets." I froze. What the business, the house? My father had never even hinted at this. I looked over at Sarah, her eyes wide, her breath caught in her throat. I could feel the tension in the air. Liam's head jerked up at the mention of the business. He didn't say anything, but I could see it, his anger simmering just below the surface. I was shocked. I didn't even want the business. I had my own life, my own career. I didn't need his company or the house. I just wanted things to go back to normal. The lawyer kept reading, unaware of the storm brewing in the room. "To my youngest daughter, Sarah Blake, I leave my personal collection of artwork and antiques, as well as a sum of 200,000 from my savings account." Sarah's eyes flickered with disbelief. She hadn't expected that, but she tried to hide it behind a small smile. She didn't know what was coming next. "And to my son, Liam Blake, I leave my car, personal belongings, and the remainder of my retirement savings." Liam didn't speak. He just looked at the floor, his fingers tightly gripping the arm of the chair. It was clear to me he wasn't happy. I had never seen him so upset, so detached. He had always been the quiet one, but now, it seemed like he was holding back an explosion of emotions. Sarah, sitting next to me, whispered, "Is that all? The car and a retirement account?" I didn't know how to respond. There was something deeply unfair about this, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I looked over at Liam again, and I saw the rage building behind his eyes. He was ready to explode. "Mr. Blake didn't leave you more?" Sarah asked the lawyer, her voice shaking with a mix of disbelief and frustration. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat again. "This is the full distribution, as per Mr. Blake's wishes." I could feel the room tense up. Liam stood up abruptly, slamming his fist against the armrest. "This is bullshit!" he shouted. "How does Dad leave me nothing? How is this fair?" The lawyer looked at him, startled, but said nothing. Sarah looked at me, her face pale. She wasn't sure what to do. None of us were. I stood up, trying to calm things down. Liam, stop. This isn't helping. But he wasn't listening. You don't get it, Kate. Liam's voice was full of anger now. You get the business. You get everything. Sarah gets the antiques and money. And I get nothing. This isn't about the money, Kate. It's about how we've all been treated. How I've been treated. I've been sidelined my whole life. And now this. I looked at him, my heart pounding. Liam, we need to calm down. It's not like this is easy for anyone. Easy. Liam's face was flushed, his eyes wide with frustration. How the hell do you think I feel right now? I didn't even get a chance to know what I was getting into. Dad didn't even talk to me about any of this. I feel like I've been erased. I didn't know how to respond. There was no way to fix this. The damage had already been done. The wool had been red. The family, the bond we thought we shared, was already beginning to crumble. Liam stormed out of the room, and I could hear the sound of him slamming the door behind him. I turned to Sarah, but she just looked at me, her eyes filled with confusion and hurt. I don't know what to do, she whispered. None of us do. And just like that, we were left in the aftermath. The tension, the hurt, the confusion, it all felt like a bomb had gone off, and we were the ones left to pick up the pieces. The house was eerily quiet after Liam left. The kind of silence that makes you feel like something heavy is hanging in the air, something you can't escape no matter how hard you try. I sat there in the living room, staring at the spot where Liam had been standing moments before. He was angry, no, he was furious. And I didn't know what to do about it. I turned to Sarah. She hadn't moved from her spot on the couch. She was still pale, her face drawn. Her eyes were wide, but she didn't seem to be crying anymore. I didn't know if she was numb or just trying to hold it together. Kate, she said quietly, breaking the silence. What are we going to do this isn't just about the will, is it? I sighed, rubbing my temples. I didn't have an answer for her. The will was just a catalyst. All these years of tension, of unspoken words and resentments, had been building up, and now everything was out in the open. Liam's outburst wasn't just about him feeling left out of the inheritance, it was about everything. It was about him feeling like he had been invisible in this family for years. I couldn't blame him for that. I don't know, I said finally. I don't know what's going to happen next. But I do know this: it's not just the money that's the problem. It's the trust. It's everything that's been broken. The next few days were a blur. Liam didn't come back to the house. He didn't respond to our calls or texts. Sarah and I spent most of our time either alone or talking in hushed voices, trying to make sense of everything. Mom had been staying at her sister's house, and it felt like we were on our own, left to deal with the fallout from Dad's passing. It was strange, not hearing his voice around the house. Not seeing him in his chair in the living room, reading the newspaper, or making his terrible coffee. I kept expecting him to walk in at any moment, like everything was normal. But it wasn't. Nothing was normal anymore. One night, after another silent dinner, I found myself sitting in the kitchen, staring at the empty chair across from me. The kitchen had always been the heart of our home, but now it just felt cold. I was lost in my thoughts when I heard the front door open. I stood up quickly, heart racing, but it wasn't Liam. It was Sarah. She walked in slowly, her face grim. "Liam's at the bar," she said, her voice low. "I tried to talk to him. He won't come back here." I felt a pang in my chest. "What did he say?" Sarah hesitated, then shrugged. He said he couldn't come back. Not like this. He needs space, Kate. He needs time to figure things out. But I don't know what's going to happen when he comes back." I nodded slowly, understanding but not knowing what to say. Liam had always been the one who withdrew. I had hoped he'd come back after a few hours of cooling off, but it seemed like this was different. He wasn't just angry. He was hurt. And maybe he was right to feel that way. The next few days were awkward. Every time I passed Sarah, I could see the worry in her eyes. We both knew Liam wasn't coming back until he felt like he could fix this, but none of us knew how to fix it. None of us knew how to make it better. And then, one afternoon, I got a text from Liam. I opened it, heart in my throat. "I'm sorry, Kate. I don't know what else to say. I feel like everything is falling apart, and I can't keep pretending it's not. I need time. I'll figure it out. But I'm not coming back yet." I sat there, staring at the screen, unsure of how to feel. A part of me wanted to reach out, to tell him everything would be okay, but I knew it wouldn't be, not unless we all faced what had happened. A week later, things didn't get any better. Liam was still distant, still holed up in his apartment, and every attempt we made to reach out to him was met with silence. I was starting to feel like we had lost him. I didn't know how to bring him back, how to make him see that we were still family, still here for him. But it wasn't just about him. It was about us. The guilt that had been eating away at me since Dad's death was overwhelming. I wasn't ready to take over the business. I wasn't ready to handle everything Dad had left behind. But I didn't know how to tell anyone that. And then, things took an unexpected turn. I was cleaning out Dad's office, trying to go through his papers and tie up some loose ends when I found a letter, folded and tucked in the back of a drawer. It was addressed to me. I opened it carefully, heart pounding in my chest. It wasn't like Dad to leave letters. We'd always communicated directly. But as I read, my stomach dropped. "Kate, if you're reading this, then it means I'm gone. I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I know I haven't always shown it, but you've always been the one to step up when things got tough. I'm leaving you the business, because I know you'll take care of it. But more than that, I'm leaving you a responsibility. A responsibility to make things right with your brother, with Sarah. I know it won't be easy, but it's what needs to happen. Please, don't let this tear you apart like it did to me. I failed you all, and I hope you can do better than I did." I felt my breath catch in my throat as I read those words. He was telling me, no, asking me, to fix everything. To be the one who made things right. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of the letter pressing down on me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't fix everything. But I had to try. For Dad. For my family. And for myself. After reading Dad's letter, I felt a weight settle over me that I couldn't shake. It was like he had given me everything: the business, the house, the legacy, along with the responsibility of keeping the family together. But how could I do that when everything was falling apart? I wasn't sure I was strong enough to hold it all together, especially with Liam still refusing to come back. I stared at the letter for a long time, the ink blurring in my vision as the tears welled up again. This wasn't fair. Why did it have to be me? Why couldn't someone else take the lead, someone who wasn't so broken by everything that had happened? But there I was, the oldest, the one expected to step up. I took a deep breath and folded the letter back up, slipping it into the drawer. There was no going back now. I couldn't just ignore what Dad had asked of me. The business, the family, everything, it was mine now. I had to figure out what to do with it. The next morning, I drove to Liam's apartment. I didn't know what I was going to say to him. I didn't know if he was even going to talk to me, or if I was just wasting my time. But I had to try. I had to fix this. When I knocked on his door, I didn't expect him to answer right away. It was Liam, after all. He was the type to retreat when things got tough. But to my surprise, he opened the door, his eyes tired and red, as if he hadn't slept in days. "You came," he said, his voice hoarse. "I had to," I replied, my voice shaking. "We need to talk, Liam." He stepped aside and let me in. I could tell he hadn't been taking care of himself. His apartment was a mess, empty bottles on the counter, clothes scattered on the floor. It was nothing like the Liam I used to know, the one who always had his life together. He sat down on the couch, rubbing his eyes. "I don't know what to say, Kate. I don't know how to fix this." "I don't either," I admitted. "But I think we have to try." Liam shook his head, his frustration building. "I don't want the business. I don't want any of it. I just want to feel like I matter. I want to feel like I wasn't invisible all these years." I swallowed hard, the words cutting deeper than I expected. "You're not invisible, Liam. You never were. But I can't fix everything. Dad gave me the business, the house. He trusted me with all of it. And I don't know what I'm doing." Liam's eyes flickered with anger. "You don't get it, Kate. He never trusted me. He never saw me as capable. I always felt like I was just there. I wanted more than just some of his stuff. I wanted him to see me." I felt a pang in my chest. I understood now. It wasn't about the money or the house. It was about feeling like he was enough. Like he mattered. "I'm sorry," I said softly. "I didn't see it before. But I see it now." Liam stood up, pacing back and forth. "I just wanted a chance, Kate. I wanted the chance to prove myself. To prove that I could be more than just the baby of the family. But now it's too late." I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know how to fix this rift between us. But then, something shifted. The anger in Liam's eyes began to fade, replaced by something else. A deep sadness. "I don't want to fight anymore, Kate," he said quietly. "I don't want to be angry. But I don't know how to let it go." I took a step toward him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We don't have to fix everything right now. But we can try. We can start by talking. Start by being honest with each other." Liam looked at me for a moment, then nodded slowly. "I don't know if I can forgive Dad. Or you for taking all of it. But I'll try. I'll try to figure it out. For us." It wasn't perfect, and I knew there was still a long road ahead of us. But it was a start. The days that followed weren't easy. It took time for Liam to come back to the family, to start talking to me and Sarah again. But slowly, he did. He started showing up for dinner, started talking about the business, started trying to figure out his place in all of this. Sarah was the hardest to talk to. She hadn't said much since the reading of the will, and I could tell she was still holding on to her resentment. She'd take every opportunity to mention the money, the antiques, the things she'd been given in the will. But it wasn't about that. It was about family, and she didn't see it that way. One evening, I sat down with her in the kitchen, the way we used to when we were younger, gossiping about life and laughing over nothing. She was quieter now, but I could still see the girl I used to know. "Sarah," I said softly, "are you okay really?" She hesitated, her fingers tracing the edge of her coffee cup. "I don't know, Kate. I thought I was okay, but after the will. After everything, I don't feel like I fit in anymore. I don't feel like I have a place in this family." I wanted to say something to make it all better. But I couldn't. All I could do was sit there, listening, and hoping she could see that we were still here. We were still a family, even if we didn't have all the answers. "We'll figure it out," I said softly. "We'll fix this. Together." Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the family started to heal. Liam returned to the fold, and Sarah began to soften. I started taking over the business, trying to learn what Dad had left me, trying to make him proud. It wasn't easy, and there were many late nights, many arguments. But we were doing it. We were still a family, still trying, still figuring it out. The road wasn't straight, and there were still bumps along the way. But for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. We had been broken, but maybe we could fix the pieces. Maybe we could rebuild.